You may want to double this recipe just because you might want to eat them all in one sitting. It's Caitlin and welcome to another video. In this video I'm going to show you how to make some easy corn stuffed empanadas that just happen to be vegan and delicious. So many of you probably don't know this actually, but when I was in undergrad in college, I studied abroad in Buenos Aires, Argentina for 6 meses or 6 months. Look at me, I'm so good at Spanish. Just kidding. Anyways, I absolutely loved it there. I had such a wonderful experience. I loved the people, I loved the culture, and I also loved their empanadas. Now, I was only vegetarian at the time. I wasn't a vegan, so when I was studying abroad, I ate a fair amount of empanadas, and they were all pretty good, I will admit, but the corn ones were my absolute favorite. There was this really tiny kind of hole-in-the-wall cafe really close to where I lived, and they had the friggin' best empanadas ever. I still dream about them. They're probably not vegan, so even if I went back, I couldn't eat them. But the good news is we're making vegan corn empanadas today because you guys voted for corn to be the next ingredient in my monthly collaboration with my friends Jasmine and Chris of Sweet Simple Vegan. So they teamed up this month to make incredible looking corn almond ice cream. So after you finish watching this video, be sure to head on over to their channel and check that out. One final note before we begin, be sure to vote in the poll in this part of your screen right here for the theme of next month's collaboration video with Jasmine and Chris. So we're between a 5-ingredient recipe or on-the-go lunch ideas. So be sure to vote and give us your input. Okay, let's get to making some empanadas. Alright, so first we're going to make our empanada dough, and we're actually going to be using white cannellini beans in this recipe. The beans have a nice texture that helps to resemble the lard or the shortening that would normally be in a recipe, and it's a great way to get in some extra fiber and plant-based protein. So we're going to add some beans and some full-fat coconut milk to a food processor. Then you're just going to blend that for about 60 to 90 seconds or until the beans have completely incorporated into the coconut milk. You should just have a thick, liquidy mixture once you're done. So then in a medium-sized bowl, we're going to add our flour and a teaspoon of salt, and we're just going to stir that together until everything is well incorporated. Then we're just going to add our bean and coconut milk mixture in, and you can stir this around with your fork a little bit until the dough absorbs the liquid. Then you can choose to cut the dough, so you take knives or a pastry cutter and you sort of cut the dough, and this helps to incorporate the liquid into the flour. And typically this is how you would make a sort of dough with shortening, and using the beans and coconut milk allows us to do this. And to be honest, this was very hard to do with a tripod standing over my head, so I just kind of took the dough aside and mixed it a little more. But at one point it will get sticky and you can knead it with your hands, and it should come out looking something like this. If you need to add like a tablespoon or 2 more of water, you may need to do that depending on your flour. Then we're going to put half of the dough in between 2 layers of wax paper or parchment paper, and you're going to roll it out using a rolling pin or a bottle of apple cider vinegar like I'm using here until it is nice and thin. And just for reference, it should be about 1/8 of an inch thick, which you can see here. So then you're going to repeat this with the other half of your dough and put these in your fridge and let them cool. So then for the actual empanada dough itself, we're going to start by putting some water into a pot and adding our diced yellow onion, and you're just going to cook this down for about 5 or so minutes over medium heat until it is nice and translucent, like you can see right here. Then we're going to add in our corn, some diced roasted red pepper, a little bit of salt, black pepper to taste, and about a cup of coconut milk. Then you're just going to stir everything around to make sure it's nice and incorporated, and you're going to bring the mixture to a simmer and then let it cook down for about 15 to 20 minutes, and this allows all the flavors to incorporate together really nicely, and the coconut milk sort of cooks down and you get this mixture that is a lot thicker, and this is going to be our filling for the empanadas. So you can remove this from the heat and set it aside for a few minutes just to cool. And in the meantime, you can take your empanada dough out of the fridge, and I just decided to roll it out with a rolling pin just to make sure it really was as thin as I wanted it to be. And then I decided to use this big glass mug to cut out my empanadas. You can use a circular cookie cutter or any other glass, and you're just going to press it into your empanada dough and repeat this around the entire surface of the dough that you have rolled out. And then after you have that, if it doesn't pierce through the dough completely, I just sort of went around the edges with a knife and was able to pull the dough out that way. And it doesn't really matter if these are complete circles or not, because you're going to be folding the dough together. You just want a general circle shape just to make sure that it will be a general empanada shape, if that makes sense. So you're going to repeat this with your second set of dough, and then, you know, the standard, you can take the scraps from your dough and roll them out again and make more empanada shapes from that, and then do that again and again and again, and it's so much fun, but I promise it's worth it. And in total, mine made about 18 rounds of dough. So once you have all of those, we're going to fill them. So first you're just going to pick up your dough, and I like to sort of stretch it out with my fingers a little bit more, and then you're going to fill it with only about 1 to 2 tablespoons. You don't want to overfill your empanada. That's really, really important. So then you're just going to pinch the ends of the empanada using your fingers to make sure the dough stays nice and sealed inside. And you can choose to keep your empanada this way and just seal the ends using a fork, or pinch it a little bit more firmly with your fingers. But I wanted to roll my empanadas like the way I learned in Argentina, because I think they look prettier too. So just to show you guys here, you sort of pinch the dough from the underside and rotate your thumb to the top side of the empanada that's facing you. And you're just going to repeat this around the entire rim of the empanada. And as you can see, I'm really pinching the dough to make sure it sticks to the empanada and that the dough is overlapping as well. And I think this helps to seal the empanada better as well. And it may take a couple of tries at first, but I picked it up pretty fast, and I have faith in you guys. I think you will be able to as well. And now that that's done, we're going to place our empanadas onto a tray, and I lightly coated mine with a little bit of plant-based milk, and this just helps them to get a little more golden after you bake them in the oven. So you're just going to bake these for about 30 to 35 minutes at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and they should come out looking nice and golden brown and crispy on the outside, but they're going to be super delicious on the inside as well. And that is it for this recipe, guys. If for some reason you don't like corn, I don't really know why you're watching this video, because it's about corn empanadas, but you could feel free to stuff these empanadas with something else, maybe some like ground vegan beef, or you can do onions and cheese. But I mean, look at that corn filling, guys. It looks pretty dang good. I think you should try that. Just my opinion though. Alright, and that's how you make the empanadas, but now it's time to taste them. But first, can we just take a moment to appreciate my empanada folding skills, guys? I'm not one to toot my own horn, but I took one empanada making class when I studied abroad in Argentina, when I learned how to do this, and that was several years ago, and I was like, dang, I still got it. It's the little things in life, you know? But let's see how the taste holds up. They're perfectly brown on the outside, and I'm honestly so happy with this dough. You definitely can't tell there are beans in it. And it smells so good. Okay, enough suspense. Oh my god. These are so freaking good. They taste almost just like I remember that amazing little empanada store in Argentina having. Oh my gosh. And the dough came out like super flaky and moist, and the inside is creamy, and the flavor of the corn with the roasted red pepper is just incredible. And I feel like the coconut milk just complements it really well. And even though there's like very minimal ingredients in these, I just feel like they're so flavorful. And honestly, this is probably one of the recipes that I'm most proud of that I've made so far. Alright, I'm going to take a brief pause and stop freaking out over how delicious these empanadas are, just to say thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Be sure to vote in next month's poll. Don't forget to check out Jasmine and Chris's corn almond ice cream video, and be sure to have an epic or awesome rest of your day, whatever time of day it is for you. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye! Oh, I already said thanks so much for watching, but you know, I guess I'm just really thankful today.